They've got the world's largest robotic dog collection right here in Sacramento.
Sometimes I have an obsessive personality.
She's a local TV personality obsessed with leopard print.
Anything leopard print.
His love for the king was too big to contain inside his Stockton home.
Original scarf from the show from '73.
They're all some of our favorite collectors we've met over the past 3 years, all coming up on The Best of the Collectors. Hi, I'm Jason Shoultz. Today we're meeting some of our favorite collectors from all over the Central Valley. Now, we're not just talking about collections of porcelain figurines that you put on a shelf or interesting spoons or thimbles, stuff like that. No, we want the interesting and the unusual, and we want to know what drives folks to collect them. Well, our first story takes us to Antelope for a couple that has a very sweet collection. Meet the Telford family. There's Paul, Tara, and the twins, Thomas and Abigail. This family calls Antelope home, and in their home, they call the office.
Well, this is the Pez room.
Well, it sure is. Paul's Pez dispenser collection has taken over this room. Ducks, trucks, a collection of brats. Just how many dispensers are on these racks?
Not exactly sure, close to 1,000. I think it's addiction at this point. I think we've gone beyond the hobby stage.
And you thought the spring-loaded plastic containers were just for popping pressurized pill-shaped sugar candy.
Paul, it's almost like the Pez are looking down on us.
Yes, they're watching over me when I'm in this room.
Paul started collecting Pez back when he was in college. As he tells it, the obsession was truly an accident.
Bought a few of them, maybe 5 or 10, and had them sitting there, and then after a while, maybe a few months down the road, I started adding a few more as I found them, and then before I knew it, I had a collection of hundreds. And then at that point, I couldn't stop.
And there are no signs of slowing down either from this vintage Santa Pez dispenser.
Bought it a couple of years ago, and it's slightly over $100 that I paid.
To packs of candy older than Paul.
I got some of the candy going back through the 60s and 70s.
Paul's Pez fascination was no surprise to his wife Tara. She found out about it on their first date. And after that, there was no question that Pez would be part of their lives.
On our wedding cake, we had a bride and groom that we made on the top tier of the cake. These were the wedding favors at our wedding, and Paul printed the labels. It says Paul on one side, Tara on the other. It's still Paul's thing, but
You better be careful.
I know. It's contagious, really.
How about the kids? What if the first word out of your children's mouth?
It's Pez.
You might think Paul is just about the only person who would pay hundreds of dollars for a plastic candy dispenser. Well, you'd be wrong.
In case you haven't heard, there's a controversy about reproduction parts.
Welcome to Pez 101. Denise Fournier from Citrus Heights is teaching one of several workshops at the annual Pez-Cific, that's P-E-Z, Cific Coast Convention. Every year, Pez worshipers from around the world take over this Long Beach Marriott hotel. Across the hall from the Lions Club meeting, discussions about everything Pez.
But some people enjoy a Pez that has been used. They like to think about the kids playing with it. So it's whatever you like. It's really what you like.
We talk about the different variations of Pez, what people have found that's quite different, the stems, what's coming out, the way heads are made, different springs and hinges and all kinds. Yes, there are metal springs and then there are plastic springs, and yeah, it's an interesting little world.
I don't have any of these left.
Pez aficionados talk springs and stems. Novices like me just learn the basics.
Can't be perfect
sorry.
all the time. You open them like this, hold it between your thumb like that, pop them into here like this. There you go.
We're all a little crazy. Well, everyone has a hobby, and it's just whatever you choose. Well, I chose Pez. Some people choose antique cars. Some people choose those political buttons. It's just whatever you find interesting.
And where things really get interesting at the Pez convention is the hotel's second floor. Pez heads, that's what they call themselves, like Placerville's Carol Bell, open up their rooms for Pez buying, selling, and trading.
They have room hopping where the dealers, they'll open their hotel room and they put their wares out like I have, and people come in and buy their stuff. To a person that collects Pez, it's a dream come true.
this convention?
Oh yeah, any Pez convention. To see this many Pez in one area.
And they are everywhere. Racks and racks of dispensers. The rarer, the more valuable. Asking price for this vintage pineapple head Pez, $3,000.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
Carol's Pez sales might make enough money to cover the trip down to Long Beach, but this is less about making dough than sharing in good times with fellow Pez heads. Maybe it's the sugar rush, but even non-Pez people can get drawn into the fun.
Do Pez people know how to party?
Oh yes.
They do, huh?
Oh yes.
What happens at the convention stays at the convention.
I'm Tom Breyer, and I collect Ragtime sheet music. I've been playing piano for very close to 30 years now. I figured if I'm going to learn this stuff and get my hands on the music to learn it, I'm going to have to start gathering sheet music. I've been collecting sheet music since 1991. The last time I checked, I had well over 1,000 sheets of Ragtime. It's a never-ending quest for rare sheet music, and it's getting to the point now where the stuff that I'm missing I probably will never own because it's ridiculously expensive, but it's really fun to look. I do have a limit where I will pay no more than X for a single sheet of music. It's something that's best left between me and my bank. Although, folks, it's not 4 digits or anything. The Fanatic Rag. I have this fire-resistant 6-foot-tall safe that I keep all this music in for insurance and what have you. It's actually a gun safe. Obviously, it's not designed to store sheet music, but it's got lots of shelves and things, and there's room for it to stack nicely. The safe isn't so much for fear of robbery. Mostly it's a matter of I don't want all this sheet music and all the investment to go up in smoke. The fact of the matter is if people like me don't gather this stuff together and archive it, say, it's going to be lost. And it's a part of American history. And it would be a shame to have it disappear. I love Ragtime because it's got kick. It's happy music, and it's music you just can't sit still listening to. It's happy.
Don Morris has quite a sound system in the living room of his Stockton home. 1,200 watts of raw power. But when you're paying tribute to the king of rock and roll, you need all the juice you can get. How often is Don in here singing?
Not as much as I would like to be. I'd like to do it more often, but a couple times a week, you know. I try to come in here and do some half a dozen songs.
Don's living room is his own personal shrine dedicated to Elvis Presley.
You look around and it's just stuff that I've collected over the years, and to put it in your closet and hide it, you know, I just didn't feel that was the way to show my appreciation for the entertainment this guy gave us for all these years. We have the plate collections, we have all his guitar collection that EP Enterprise put out. This is all the McCormick collection, the canners. I don't put a value on any of this stuff, actually. It doesn't make me any difference whether it's worth 50 cents or $10,000. I have no intention of ever selling anything. This will be, if something happens to me and I go, then my grandkids or my great-grandkids or one of them will actually end up with it.
As a young man, Don was a huge fan of the popular crooner, buying his music, following his career, and ultimately in 1973, seeing him live in concert in Tahoe.
And the maitre d', of course, you know, you palm a little bit on a little money to him. And back then in '73, I gave him $50 if I could sit on the stage, and they tried to put me back, and I said no. So I gave him some more money to put me on the stage.
Original scarf from the show from '73?
1973, you got that scarf. Tell me about that.
Elvis actually handed it to me.
He handed it to you right off the stage.
Right out of his hand. Still got his DNA on it.
Sweat.
All
right?
that sweat, you know.
Was it pretty wet and gross when he handed it to you?
You know, you don't think of it like that, you know. I didn't think of anything on him as gross at the time.
Elvis, gross? Now that's just cruel. Of course, Don is not alone in his fascination with Elvis. there are fans all over the world. Don didn't have to go far to find a fellow disciple of everything Elvis. Meet Don's friend, Bob McDowell. Today the pair is going to Graceland.
Yeah, man.
No.
Want to do a little music?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
I got a new song I want to try.
Oh, all right.
In Don's backyard. Yes, that's right. A few years back, Don built a scaled-down version of Elvis's Memphis mansion.
I had like a guest quarters out in the backyard, and the wife and I, we were just sitting there talking one day, and decided. I told her, I said, you know, I think I can make that look like Graceland.
And it does look like Graceland, right down to the lion statues at the front door. And inside?
I put in a what he called his TV room, fountain room, which was in black with the yellow cloud with the lightning bolt coming down his wall.
But the highlight of this room is the performance stage. This is where Don hands over the singing duties to Bob, who, according to Don,
his vocal skills are just like Elvis's. If you turn your back, you'll think you're listening to Elvis.
These guys don't consider themselves impersonators, but they do put on a show every Friday night at a local nightclub. Don says if you turn your back when you're singing, you might think it's actually Elvis. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. I just sing the songs. That's about all I can really tell you. I've heard that. I've heard it from a lot of people, but I don't know.
Can you give me any hints? Can you teach me how to do a little Elvis voice? What would be the one thing you'd tell me how to do?
Well, I guess the thing that most people do is they give a lot of that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So why don't you try that, man?
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Oh. Does that work for you, Bob?
Absolutely. And I wanted to turn my back.
Sacramento, the final frontier.
Okay, is it my move?
Yes.
This is the collection of Carl Miller and Kiki Stockhammer, their 7-year mission to explore strange nightclubs and boldly go where no rock band has gone before. This is Warp 11.
Well, she got warp drive, and she got speed.
We've been in bands forever, and finally just one day, we were just playing around. We said, hey, let's try like a sci-fi band.
Well, she got the sleekest body.
The main reason I think we made a Star Trek band out of everything else really is because nothing else really rhymed with Chewbacca. A word of advice to all the collectors out there, if there's something that you want, form a band about it. Like if you want more Pez stuff, form a rockin' Pez band, and I guarantee you, you will be given more Pez dispensers than you can know what to do with.
You start a band that all the songs are about Star Trek, and then when people don't know what gift to give you, they will give you
Star Trek.
Tribbles.
Sure, so we've been around for about 7 years. I'd say out of all the stuff that we have, and not, all of it's not even out here, we have boxes in the garage. I'd say we've maybe purchased like maybe 10% of it, and the rest has all been gifted to us.
Yeah.
I think the coolest thing I own, and this is like one of the only things that I've ever purchased for Star Trek, and I actually bought this back in 1974. This is an original Mego 8-inch Spock action figure. If you have a thing that you like, you want to have things to remind you of it, to show that you like it.
From rock and Star Trek bands to Elvis Presley, one thing we've learned is collecting and music often go hand in hand. That's a lesson I got in Vacaville from a squeeze box collector. And who doesn't like accordions? Try not tapping your toe when one of these guys has a button box in hand. For $3, anybody can come to the Sacramento Accordion Club meeting, if you can call it a meeting. It's more of a monthly talent show. From patriotic tributes to party music, there's one thing in common: the instrument.
1, 2.
And if you do visit the Accordion Club, chances are you'll see Hank Turnsk. He's not the club's president, but he might be its biggest cheerleader. To help understand Hank's passion for the squeeze box, he invited me to his Vacaville home. That's Hank's girlfriend, Ann Ure. She loves the accordion too. Stop by on any given day and you might find the couple playing 2 of their collection of 40 accordions. So you've been collecting them from all over the world then, right?
Well, we rescue them from, you know, when they're...
rescue? What do you mean you rescue?
Well, they're sitting there lonesome like, and they're going to be deteriorating, you know, and they wanted to be, you know, have a home, you know, so...
These sad accordions withering in some closet.
We appreciate them over here, you know.
You got some other ones back here that you've rescued, I see?
Well, yeah, they're pretty well beat up though, but they found a home here, you know.
Now, those look a little different than this one. Are they older?
They're very old button accordions that were given to me by members of my family.
These were given to you by
They were given to me. They found them in antique stores. This one, I believe, was made in Germany, and it's a 1-row Buckeye brand.
Buckeye.
This one here has an interesting grill on it. Ne Plus Ultra Accordion patent.
Now, these would be what year?
These, I'm sure they're probably 1920-ish, somewhere in there.
Accordions fall into 2 categories: piano style with piano keys on the side, and button boxes with buttons instead of keys. There are different types of button boxes.
It's a 4-row.
A B flat?
It's B flat, E flat, A flat. What would it be?
I think it's F, B flat, E flat, A flat.
Oh yeah.
But it's all a bit confusing.
This is a button accordion also.
Some of the couple's accordions date back to the 1800s, like this one from France. It's pretty small.
Very small. I don't think roll out the barrel would work too well in this.
Like so many collectors we meet, Hank's collecting isn't restricted to one thing. Besides accordions, he's into old-time tools. And on the walls of his kitchen...
I got them egg beaters. Yeah, they're all bakelite and they're all nice colored. You know, they're bright colors, you know, reds and yellows, whites, blues, greens, you know. So I hang them up, you know.
But it's accordions that are the closest thing to Hank's heart, for good reason. The quirky instrument is what brought he and Ann together. They met at an accordion club gathering 30 years ago.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. We've been playing accordions all this time.
And if the accordion has brought Hank and Ann so much joy, well, you can understand why they might want to share it.
I'm going to teach you how to play, and I know you'll learn very quickly.
Good luck.
The C note starts right here, and you're looking at 2 octaves here, just like you would have on your piano.
Gotcha.
So on your left-hand side, you have a row of inside buttons, which would be your single notes.
Right here.
Then on the outside row, you'll have a chord that will go with the button on the inside. For instance, the one with a little rhinestone in it is your C.
So this is C. Oops,
that would be your C bass, single bass note.
And you're going to play, so you're playing a little tune in C over here.
That's correct.
And you're doing your rhythm.
Doing your rhythm. You
in C over here.
Or oompa, depending on what you're playing. Right, so try a little oompa. There you go.
And before long, I had caught the bug.
Oh, great job, Jason. Oh, we love it.
With egg beaters over our heads and accordions in our hands, it was time to test my skills.
Yeah, I can't do that.
My name is Julissa Ortiz, and I collect leopard print. Anything leopard print. Hey! Well, this is actually a funny story. I was actually into, bright, bold colors, and before that, sunflowers. But I wanted to go for something a little bit more sophisticated. And somehow, I came upon leopard print. Sophisticated, not exactly the first thing that comes to mind when I think of leopard print. I like to say it's sassy but classy. Or it can be sassy but classy. Oh my gosh, I have way more things than I can actually count. This collection has grown beyond what I ever imagined. I've got everything from the nail clippers to wine glasses. Cheers! The hangers, I just saw those yesterday. This is one of my most recent additions. This is actually a piñata. I am one of the morning anchors for Good Day Sacramento, and I do a little news, I do a little feature, and I also do a little weather.
First, I got a weather on the spot for you.
I actually have leopard print weather graphics. I've gotten a number of things from viewers. I got, this really cool little pimp hat. It's red with trim. This couch, for instance. Oh my God, I love this couch. I just got it a few months ago, and I had to have it. And my dad, he is a saint. He's the one that drove. He picked up the pickup truck and drove with this leopard print couch on the back of the truck. He is a saint. I don't so much think that this is an obsessive or compulsive thing. I do think it's different. Oftentimes when people see leopard print, it's not always, looked at the best, it's in the best light. But that's why I like to say it can be sassy and classy if worn or used in the right way. People think, oh, it can be a little trashy, but I prefer that when people think of leopard print and me, that it's not that way.
Well, we've met some classic collecting characters so far, but we've saved our favorite for last. Let's go to Carmichael and meet a couple who has a world record collection of robotic dogs. They look, sound, and feel like toys.
I love you.
But to Bruce and Carla Binder,
these are real pets. They're real robotic pets.
Each dog has their own personality, even with the same software.
filled with dozens of Sony dogs called Ibos, a visit to this couple's Rancho Cordova home feels a bit like a trip into a futuristic toy store. Well, not toys.
Absolutely not. They're pets.
Yeah.
Maybe a pet store of the future. Made up of tiny gears and computer hardware, the robotic dogs are programmed to walk, talk, and do tricks.
What time is it?
It is 6:50.
While the prospect of real-life Fido being replaced by a robotic dog with artificial intelligence might scare some folks, the Binders are embracing computer-programmed pets.
We average about one a month. We have the world's largest private collection.
In the past 5.5 years, this couple has purchased 58 Sony Ibo robotic dogs. The Binders named all of them, but remembering the names
Sparky, yeah,
can be challenging.
Quasar. We have 3 of this color. This is a Japanese spring white.
Fujiyama?
No, Fujiyama is the winter white.
Lucky?
No, Lucky. That's
This is Lucky.
That's right.
I
The first
said
one
the
is
gold
Isa.
210.
Sunu Pai. That's Xena. That's Fujiyama.
Oh.
If you had 58 children, try to remember all their names.
And as you might imagine, these critters are pretty expensive, around $1,000 to $2,000 each. The Binders' investment so far,
In Ibos and Ibo accessories, about $95,000.
on a cool March evening when other folks might struggle taking their living, breathing dogs for a walk in the rain, the Binders sprawl out on the living room floor with their pets.
Get a little closer. That was a good try. Go for it.
Who are you talking to?
Him.
Oh.
The Ibos get angry, they show off, they want attention.
Karate chop.
They perform. And when two dogs have a conversation,
This one asked this one what one of its favorite things were, and this one said it didn't have any favorite things.
Bruce translates.
This one said something sort of insulting, and this one got sad.
All of this might seem odd until you see the couple's other collection on shelves in their living room.
We have 319
Furbies.
Furbies. They're not all out.
There's 160 up on the wall there.
Sometimes I have an obsessive personality, you know.
No kidding.
Maybe that's another benefit of robotic pets. When you don't want to play with them anymore, you just put them on the shelf. And just like pets that don't require batteries and a memory stick, sometimes these dogs respond to their owners,
I love you.
and sometimes they don't.
They'll just miss you. They'll look up at you, they'll put their paw up in the air, they'll jerk it to the side, and they'll look over like this.
Yeah, they'll tell you off.
They're telling you off. They're letting you know, not only am I not going to do the command, but I'm letting you know that I'm dismissing you.
Can you sit?
He does his own thing.
He's more independent than a lot of them.
Did he just tell me off?
Sony has been making the Ibo since 1999. Each generation of the robotic dog brings new technological advancements. But in January of 2006, the company announced the ERS-7M3 would be the last model of the plastic pooch sold. all part of an effort to improve Sony's bottom line. Fortunately for Aibo lovers like the binders, Sony promises to continue servicing the robots. And service or not, the binder's plastic pet obsession is not going away.
Playing time is over. It's time to go night-night. For me, these little guys bring the child out in me. And I mean, I'm an engineer. I know how these little guys work. Good night. She always does this. She doesn't like to go to sleep. And it doesn't make any difference. When I turn them on, they become pets, and they bring the child out in me.
I get to interact with the Aibo. You know, I get out on the floor and play with him, and I don't know, I just love him. I really, really love him, apparently.
Yes, Daddy's gonna put you to sleep now. Good night.
Even though Sony stopped making the Aibo in 2006, every year collectors from around the world gather in Tokyo, Japan for the annual Robotic Dog Convention. Well, that'll do it for this edition of The Collectors. We hope you've enjoyed the show and maybe you're inspired to keep collecting yourself. And we want to thank the Antiques and Collectibles Marketplace in Sacramento. In the meantime, I got a flight to catch to Tokyo.
Ajax, is that Echo?
Echo.
That's Echo.
Candy.
Spooky.
Murasaki.
Lava. That's Minakui there. This one is Play-Doh. And this is Xenon. She's had attitude from day one and she's never lost it. Blanca. And then Dewey's the weird one down here.
Roxy.
That's Roxanne. Yeah. Agio.
That's Otis.
Speedy.
Ame.
Sunu Pai.
Cookie.
Yunari.
This is Styx.
Nexus. Andy. And Sherry.
You missed the other ones over there.
To order a DVD copy of this program, call 888-814-3923 or visit kvie.org/viewfinder.